One of these days, Eric, we're going to get some theme music. We've talked about it. I think we even have some preliminary stuff picked out, but we'll get it going. I think it's because everyone's having more fun making up their own.
Yeah.
Theme
Just
music
make it a contest.
There you go.
Maybe we should. Maybe we should.
Do you know how many people would want to just go out there and be creative with it?
You know, I asked the Bobby from Alessi if we could use a version of Saving the Day, which he passed along to his publisher. But
you could do that. You could just be like, "Why we bust?"
Yeah, I mean, we could figure it out. He's got the karaoke version of it available, but let's see. Well, I guess we could get started. We don't have anybody hopping in the chat just yet, do we?
Not yet.
So we can wait a minute or two.
Yeah, it's fine with me.
But we're going to do This Week in Ghostbusters History today. Hey, Tony, thanks for hopping on. And so you guys, James and Eric, are welcome to chime in at any point with any thoughts and anything about what's going on in history.
Mm-hmm.
Don't
feel like there was a little bit of history. It's a tiny little bit of history, but
hold on, we save it for this. Why don't I start the show? Tony's here, so we can get going. But let's see here. Hey, everybody. Welcome. The Windy City Ghostbusters are excited to present the preeminent show focused on the charitable side of ghostbusting. We're meeting the incredible people from all over the world that dress like khaki-covered exterminators, lugging around 30-pound magic backpacks, all in the name of putting smiles on faces and helping people. And we're going to find out exactly what makes them tick, as Dr. Beckman would say, and seeing if they can answer the question, why we bust. Now, I am your host, Patrick Calvert, and joining me is, I like to call him the central nervous system of the Windy City Ghostbusters, ensuring we're broadcasting loud and clear over Twitch, Facebook, and YouTube. And as of just a week or two ago, all of the major podcast apps like Apple, Spotify, and Stitcher, you can find our shows posted there weekly. And it's our producer, James Norman. James, how are you?
I am doing pretty well. Thank you for asking.
Great.
What's going on?
Just really getting in the thick of the Christmas season here at the Calvert house. We've got, yesterday I spent a lot of time decorating sugar cookies with family, and today I've even got. I know Bob says that's not canon, but I've pulled out my festive beverage of choice from Revolution Brewing, Fistmas seasonal red ale. And
only drink if you're over 21, kids.
Yes, if you're over 21. And otherwise, I'm drinking Coke Zero. But trying to get as much Christmas in as I can. Tomorrow, I took the day off of work, so my family will go up to Macy's and the Walnut Room and
nice.
Chris Kindle Market. Kind of have a little Christmas day in the city, but
nice.
Yeah, so trying to do what we can. And as everybody that's watching us can see, and a few of you have heard him chime in a little bit, we have a big time guest here today. We have Eric Christenson from the Mooglie Fan Club joining us. Eric, how are you?
I'm doing good, guys. Thanks for having me. I'm excited to do this.
Yeah, we are excited to have you, and we'll talk, all about the Mooglie Fan Club, kind of your history with Ghostbusters, and your charity work, which focuses with Feeding America at the moment. Am I correct there?
Yes, sir.
So we'll talk all about that, but a little bit of housekeeping that we have. Welcome to the show. Bob is in the chat there, and housekeeping. The last event for the Windy City Ghostbusters is coming up this weekend on December 15th. It's going to be a brunch with Santa and the Ghostbusters at Wonderverse at the Oak Brook Center and Oak Brook Mall here outside the Chicago area, and that is going to be a big fundraiser for the Windy City Ghostbusters toy drive. So bring an unwrapped toy, get to meet real live Ghostbusters and a real live Santa Claus, all at the Wonderverse, and I hear their brunch is pretty fantastic.
The food is
there.
good. I like
so. So many different reasons to get over there. If you're a Ghostbusters fan, if you're a Christmas fan, if you're a food fan, head on out December 15th to Sony's Wonderverse. You get to play all the different interactive games based on the Sony IP, from Ghostbusters to Bad Boys and Zombieland, and much more. Stop by the Ghost Trap, the Ghostbusters theme speakeasy, and play some Ghostbusters virtual reality games while you're there too. Drive the Ecto, bust some ghosts, trap some ghosts. Lots of fun over at the Wonderverse. So, also real quick, I keep forgetting every week, James, I have this here in front of me and I never say it, but anyone that is interested, anyone in the Ghostbusters community that's interested in speaking with James and myself, please reach out to us via Facebook, and we'll send you a link to sign up to be a future guest on the show. We're happy to have folks, and we try and book interviews a few months in advance. So if you have something imminent that you need to share with us, let us know. We can try and work something out, but just keep that in mind as well. That we're trying to get things set up a few months in advance. But so the main housekeeping stuff now that's out of the way. I do, as people are kind of joining in, I do like to do this week in Ghostbusters history. And every week I think, there's not that much going on, and then I wind up filling a page full of things that pop up. A lot of it is movie releases, but there's a few other things going on as well this week in Ghostbusters history. So James, Eric, before we get to diving into Eric's history with Ghostbusters, you're both welcome to chime in at any point during Ghostbusters this week in history between December 8th and December 14th. What has happened in that time? And in 1979, Dan Aykroyd was part of Steven Spielberg's infamous movie 1941. It was released on December 14th, 1979. I still have not seen that. I don't know if either of you...
Long time ago.
I've seen it. I've watched it like twice. To be honest with you, I can never remember much of that movie.
Okay, yeah, that's on my list, but I have not made.
Do you ever feel like, because you love Ghostbusters so much, you have to see all the movies that everybody else was in? Like, I have to see all of Harold Ramis's movies, all of Bill Murray's movies. Is that you got a checklist for them?
I think they just get a pass. If it's between something with people I've never heard of or a Ghostbuster, I'm picking a Ghostbuster. Mm-hmm. I think that's how I've stumbled into things, and I always would love just stumbling into an Ernie Hudson cameo, in a movie. All of a sudden, there's Winston right there. But
he loves Miss Congeniality, man. One day I just want to go up there, all the Ghostbusters, and have a copy of Miss Congeniality. Here you go.
I remember always being surprised to see him when they would play Airheads on Comedy Central constantly in the 90s. And
Harold.
And it was Harold in that too?
Yeah. He plays the fake record executive that they try and get him in.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. I knew that. I should have known that. I shouldn't have had to have been reminded of that. But yeah, I don't think I'd put together what a mini Ghostbusters reunion that cast had in it. But we spent more time talking about Airheads than we did 1941. But if anybody has a take on 1941 as to why it needs to be seen, throw that in the chat. Other than the fact that Dan Aykroyd is in it. But coming up in 1988, Dan Aykroyd and Ivan Reitman were competing at the box office, and Dan Aykroyd put out the movie My Stepmother is an Alien, December 9th, 1988. Haven't seen that one, but Ivan Reitman put out a movie that became, iconic in the 80s, Twins, with Danny DeVito and Arnold Schwarzenegger. So that was quite a hit for Ivan Reitman there, and putting that out 6 months before Ghostbusters 2. So nice little run for Ivan there at the end of the 80s. Let's see. Next up, December 11th, 1998 is a Bill Murray movie. Do you guys want to render a guess as to which movie of Bill's came out in 1998, end of the year?
Rushmore?
You got it, James.
Oh,
Rushmore.
Okay. Didn't even have my hand on the buzzer for that one.
Yes, that was one of my favorites. One of my all-time favorites.
Oh,
and launched the careers of a lot of folks. So that was out December 11th, 1998. And hello, Terry from the Sioux Empire Ghostbusters. Welcome to the chat.
Hi, Terry.
And December 14th, 2012. This was one I didn't even remember happening. And I wish it's one of those things that you just wish was filmed, and I don't believe it was. But Jason Reitman staged a reading of Ghostbusters at the LA County Museum of Art on December 14th, 2012. And needless to say, it had a star-studded cast. And if you guys want to, do you guys remember this at all? Do you want to make a stab at who they got as the main four out there? So we had Phil Lamar from Mad TV was Winston, Jack Black as Ray,
okay,
Rainn Wilson as Egon, and Seth Rogen as Peter Venkman.
Oh, the mythical casting.
Yeah, that was the main four there. Kristen Bell played Dana Barrett. Mar Whitman, who was Anne from Arrested Development, she played Janine. Kevin Pollak was Walter Peck. That's one of my favorite castings of the group right there. And Paul Rust was Lewis. I'm blanking a little bit on who Paul Rust is. I know he's a comedic actor, but I'm blanking on what he was in. And Paul Scheer from he's been in everything. But one of my favorite podcasts, How Did This Get Made? But Paul Scheer played the mayor. So that was kind of the main cast there, December 14th, 2012, with Jason Reitman's staged reading of Ghostbusters. He said he used the last draft shooting script, but had to go back and kind of re-enter all of Venkman's lines, as Bill Murray did so much ad-libbing. There wasn't much that was on the page that actually would have been recognizable to an audience. And Tony, I don't think it was filmed. I haven't done a lot of deep digging, but I think that was some of the appeal and why some of the big names would participate, was it could kind of fly under the radar.
That was the one question I had as you kept going, like, did somebody record it? Did somebody record it?
Yeah, I want to say
awesome.
For other similar script readings, I have not found videos, so I didn't do a deep dive into this. So if anybody does have video of it, please share it. We'll put it on our social medias. But that just what a fun night that would be to watch everyone's take. Rainn Wilson as Egon was one that I did not see coming when I was going through the cast list there. And December 12th, 2016, Bill Murray golfed with President Barack Obama to promote the Affordable Care Act. They set up a little putting exhibition in the Oval Office. And that happened on December 12th, 2016, as President Obama was getting ready to leave office. And on December 14th, 2018, IDW announced that they would be putting out a 4-issue Ghostbusters comic that has a lot of love within the community. And James, Eric, have either of you checked out that IDW comic? I have not.
Oh yeah,
every single one. Every single one.
All right, I need to get on that.
They're fun.
It starts out a little rough, but it gets really good.
Okay, so the initial 4 looks like they were announced this week in 2018. Yep. But Eric, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No. I was just gonna say there's a ton of Easter eggs. I mean, like you said, the stories were a little rough at the beginning, but eventually you find yourself appreciating the art so much. They did such a good job art-wise, and then the story picks up, and then they had all the spin-off ones after that, with the Ninja Turtles, all that stuff.
Yeah, I hear you find yourself just kind of combing through it for all those little Easter eggs. And I recall hearing some of the feedback on the Dark Horse comics was, the IDW art was so beloved that it was a bit of a shock to get used to the Dark Horse comics there. But I'll have to go back and check those out when things get a little bit less hectic around the Calvert house in reading quietly is an activity that can be accomplished here. But on December 9th, 2019, it was the first trailer for Ghostbusters Afterlife dropped, and it was a long wait until the opening day. But yeah, as I've been doing this segment, it feels like every week has been a slow trickle of additional Afterlife information coming out to the public. But man, that was if I recall, I think I had to like sneak watching it at work, putting getting the screen as small as I could in the corner just in case somebody popped over my shoulder. But yeah, that was, I had to watch it as soon as I could, and
absolutely,
immediately.
And yeah, that was, it still didn't feel real. Not until I was sitting in the theater with the thing rolling in front of me. But that does it this week in Ghostbusters history. Oh wait, I missed one.
I got one too.
Oh, go ahead.
Okay, it's a small one, but I think it's pretty good. So I was combing through my memories from today on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
Today was the day that the Plasma Series 2 in the box hit 20,000 backers, doubling what they needed, the initial 10,000. Which is funny. I just thought because 2 in the box is such a fun subject at the moment with the shipping and all that good stuff.
A lot of people on pins and needles. Yeah, I haven't gotten my shipping label notification, but I think the Chicago area was not the first batch to get put out with the proton packs, so I'm okay. We've all waited this long. It'll get here. I think they want the warehouse cleared out before the end of the year themselves over there. But
funny
that's.
Oh, I'm sorry, dude.
Oh no, go ahead.
I got a bell on me. No, it's funny because my Hasbro, the wands, they shipped out of some southern suburb, not too far away from me. I think Lamont maybe was the initial shipping point for my tracking.
Yeah, I want to say. Yeah, I want to say when I ordered the wands, it was like arrived the next day. It was a very quick turnaround there. But yeah, these are all still coming from Chino, I think. But yeah, I'm excited. I know my wife is not excited to have another big Hasbro box appear and to distract me, but I'm looking forward to that one. And it looks, everyone seems to be having fun with the PKE doing all the I'm blanking on the word, the electro,
EMF.
The EMF detection. Yeah, so that's going to be fun. But yeah, 20,000. That it went a little bit faster than the Ectos. As far as hitting its numbers.
It's nuts.
But yeah, that'll be coming out anytime now, and I've not even been bothering really double checking mine. I figure I'm going to see 1,000 Facebook posts or messages on GB fans of people when the majority of those labels start getting created.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's an extra holiday for Ghostbuster fans when the HasLab release days and shipping days get out here. But so my last one,
Hydrate.
Eric, well, here we go.
Hydrate.
Little fist miss.
Did we forget to tell Eric about Hydrate?
Oh,
yes.
Sorry about that, Eric.
Yes.
I'll take
been
2.
Nice too. I mean,
yeah, we'll do 2.
Ask one of your kids to run one in for you. But
no, the door's locked. It's fine.
December 14th, December 14th, 2006. Harold Ramis directed an episode of The Office. It's one of my all-time favorites. Benihana Christmas was on December 6th, December 14th of 2006. It was so cool that he was a part of that show. I know you're reading Violet Ramis's book. I think he was getting more and more disillusioned with directing on the big screen and was enjoying doing things like The Office and working with those groups. So another, Rainn Wilson twice brought up this week in Ghostbusters history. But yeah, so December 14th, 2006. Harold Ramis directs one of my favorite episodes, Benihana Christmas. Do not try a Nagasaki it's is it an egg Nagasaki or what's it?
Yeah.
Don't try it. Tried it once. That's all. It's enough for everybody. But anyhow, so that's all I've got this week in Ghostbusters history. One day I'll have a jingle for it. It'll play us in and it'll play us out. But here we go. I think we've got a good audience here following us today, and I want to make sure we have plenty of time to officially kind of dig in on your history with Ghostbusters, Eric, and what you're doing today to help out the greater good of the community around you. And are you from Chicago originally? Are you born and raised Chicago?
I was born in Chicago. I grew up in Elmwood Park, which is about 20 minutes away from O'Hare, a little bit less than that. And I've been in Illinois the whole time, kind of on the suburbs, just kind of skidding along the city.
Yeah. Yeah. Similar to me. And so coming from Chicago, you have been familiar with the Windy City Ghostbusters group a lot. But when did you kind of first start to hear about Ghostbusters having, franchises and people, getting involved in the community on behalf of Ghostbusters?
So it's kind of a two-part story. So when I was in high school, like a sophomore in high school, this was like 2002, I became aware of the Ghostbusters.net page, the original one, that had all the archives and all that great stuff on it. And I slowly started to see people dress up, different group logos, things like that. Eventually that would dissipate in my memories. And then it was around 2016 that I really became aware of it. It was actually Answer the Call that got me back into the fandom. I mean, I was born in 87. So I didn't see the movie until much later. Real Ghostbusters was the first for me. And that's kind of what I based everything on. I'm not sure if I actually remember the first time I saw 84, but ever since then, it's just been always at the back of my head. I mean, I've been a Ghostbusters collector since I was 7 or 8. I still got a few of the figures. I still got my plush Kenner Stay Puft from when I was a kid.
Yeah,
nice.
He's got this hot chocolate stain on his foot,
and that was a sizable plush.
Yeah,
if I recall. A friend of mine had that. I was jealous because it was much more closer to scale than the smaller Kenner. Rubber Kenner figure.
Yep, got a lot of play out of it. But eventually, like I said, Answer the Call brought more attention to the fandom than I think they had intentionally intended to. But I finally got to see people doing the cosplay, doing the charity work. And I know in the past I had seen Windy City, or didn't know you were Windy City at the time. I had seen Ghostbusters in the city parades, like Thanksgiving, St. Patrick's Day. And I always thought that was really cool. When you're a kid and you're growing up and stuff, until the internet got bigger, you don't really know how many fans are in your area.
Yeah.
If you had told me 10 years ago or 15 years ago that you have a state that's full of Ghostbuster fans just like you, I would have thought it was crazy.
Yeah. And now you came in a few years, and I'm sorry, I'm cutting you off mid-story, but I want to just ask what your experience was coming in I was 83. So I was perfect age for Ghostbusters 2 when it came out, but you kind of got into it as things were heading into a drought. Did you have friends that were Ghostbusters? Were you kind of alone on the Ghostbuster fandom scale, growing up? But how did you navigate that time?
No, it was definitely just a solo kind of mission, I guess. We had Power Rangers, we had Ninja Turtles, we had Pokemon, we had all the big ones back then, and they kind of took over everything. And Ghostbusters was more like in the back. It never went away, but every once in a while I'd come back to it here and there.
Right. It was hard to keep it front and center. There wasn't anything to kind of feed that fire.
That's right.
Back then.
Actually, one thing I'll never forget is when do you remember Disney Adventures, the magazine?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, there was this episode or one issue that had upcoming TV shows in it, and there's this square about this big, and it's just a no ghost logo, and it says Extreme Ghostbusters coming soon. So I think if I remember right, Extreme came out in '97, I think somewhere around there. So I was around 10, and that was my first time getting to see, like, really experience toys on the shelves a little bit, gaming toys, the proton packs, buying them. I had the Kenner stuff, but this was all new. So just it's nice that I actually kind of had 3 or 4 gaps.
Yeah.
But you're right, there was a big dry spell after 2. That was just filled with rumors and fake trailers.
Yeah, and that's where I I had to have it. I view it as like a breakup story of when my one friend that would play Ghostbusters with me just kind of had to sit me down and say, "There's a thing called Ninja Turtles, and that's what I want to play now, not Ghostbusters." And I was like, "Well, I can't lose this friend. I gotta get on board with this Ninja Turtles thing." But yeah, so Ninja Turtles came along, and then WWF and Power Rangers kind of came in, but Extreme Ghostbusters, I didn't hear about it until I went to the Kane County Toy Fair, and there were a bunch of early models of the Extreme Ghostbusters toys on display there, and that was just blew my mind. I was not prepared and had no idea that there was something being cooked up for that. And they had a pretty cool Ecto-1 toy.
Yep.
I don't know if anybody remembers the Extreme Ghostbusters version, but
it was fragile, but it was cool.
Yeah.
Most importantly, they finally made a Sam Hain.
Yep.
I only got the Ecto. I was feeling very self-conscious as a freshman in high school as far as where I was at in my toy buying stage, and so I got the Ecto, but I didn't do much more on the Extreme Ghostbusters collecting. But that was a show I wish it had lasted a little bit longer.
Yeah.
But definitely I'm glad that was there to help carry you through a dry patch like that. And and you mentioned the cartoon being your gateway into Ghostbusters there. When you when you think of kind of your favorites, does the cartoon stand out, or as the adult in you kind of moved towards favoring 84, 89?
Well, I have an order. If you'd like, I can tell you my order for.
Sure, go ahead.
I mean, for real Ghostbusters, I think the stories. I'll never forget Murray the Mantis. That's the flip side with the People Busters. 2 of my favorite things. But with the movies, it's 84, then Afterlife, Ghostbusters 2, Frozen Empire, and then 2016. And there's no knocking on any of that. I love them all. That's the one thing I will say. I love Ghostbusters. I love the logo. If the logo's on it, I support it as much as I can, realistic about it. But, like 2016 came out. I loved it. I was buying toys in the store again for the first time in God knows how long.
Yeah.
All the things that came after that. It was just such a fun time.
Yeah. And, you have Afterlife a little bit. You have Afterlife before 89.
Well, I have, Afterlife is my number 2.
You're number 2. What about Afterlife really hit you to put it above the original, or one of the 2 originals?
So, I mean, I obviously the first one is still number 1 to me, but when I look at as just a pure sequel, one thing I like about Afterlife is if Ghostbusters 2 didn't exist, Afterlife could have just picked up the pieces and just gone with it. There's Gozer, there's Egon, everything. It honestly could have just moved Ghostbusters 2 to the side, and we still could have had the movie. I love that about it. I love the callbacks that they did to it, the little Easter eggs here and there, book stacking, Twinkies, glasses. And I liked the introduction of the kids, the Spangler family, and taking a character that we all love with Egon and really expanding on him, because aside from the couple of quirky quotes that we have from him, the spores, molds, and fungus, stuff like that. He really doesn't say a lot in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
So I like that we take a step back and just explore him a little bit.
You get some new dimensions with Egon.
Yes. And, the tribute to him at the end of the movie, it just, that scene. Oh, it was hard for me when I saw it in theaters.
Mm-hmm.
The first scene, I had a tear going down my eyes the first time.
Same.
And then at the end of the movie, I'm sitting there like,
yeah.
I mean, it's just those two things I thought were when Phoebe's, blasting and you see that hand, the camera's panning and that hand shows up. I don't think any of the other movies gave me a moment like that.
No.
Yeah.
And I think they stayed away from emotion to a certain degree. That wasn't cool, and that wasn't SNL.
Yeah. I mean, and
that wasn't that style.
This one isn't as much. I love that it's a comedy horror movies for all of them, but I like that this one had a little bit more of a serious tone.
Mm-hmm.
Especially with Gozer and the Terror Dogs. They were a little, in '84, they're a little clunky. They're bashing into walls.
Mm-hmm.
They're coming through couches and stuff. But
they're certainly more formidable.
Yeah.
In Afterlife there, and that it's an interesting decision that they made to give Egon more backstory. Is I know they took out a lot of the Janine Egon romance in the first movie because they just didn't want Egon being more human. I think is kind of how Harold Ramis, explained it, to keep him more emotionally just absent from a lot of that, and the way they set up all the returns in Afterlife. For anyone on the we're interrupting, so anyone who's listening to the podcast, there are 3 bearded men talking right now between James, Eric, and myself, and one of our viewers just said, I love this show, it's the perfect evolution of beard growth. as we do have 3 different stages of beard length going
James
here.
James is trying not to move his head. I don't want to show it off.
I did just think about how I need to get this thing trimmed down, but the cold weather, I like to have the thicker beard for the cold weather. So well done, Polar Knights, well done. But I don't even remember where we were. But long story short, Afterlife, there is, yes, that's one that just continues to grow on me every time.
Mm-hmm.
Every time I watch it, and it does have a different feel. So I think I want to pay attention to parts of Afterlife where I can throw Ghostbusters 2 on in the background, and I don't need to be paying close attention the entire time. But yeah, Afterlife is that. It's become the new Field of Dreams, where if you need to pull a tear out of me at the end,
there you go.
It's going to happen every time. But so Eric, kind of let me pardon my big detour I had you take there, but so your 2016 comes around and you kind of refamiliarize yourself with the fandom. Kind of take us through to a point where you decided you wanted to be a part of things a little bit more.
So 2016 really had me thinking about this. After I discovered the fandom, it really had me thinking about the charity aspect of it. I've always been, a nice guy. I always considered myself to be, pretty easy to get along with and stuff. And there was just such a lack of Ghostbusters in my life, like community-wise, that the idea of dressing up with 10 or 12 people just sounded so great. Mm-hmm. So eventually, in 2018, I bought my first flight suit, and with every intention of putting patches on it and trying to sign up to do something. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if I got to tell you this beforehand, I had every intention of trying out for the Windy City Ghostbusters.
Oh.
I had no idea what went into it or anything. I had seen a Facebook group and I saw the parade. The parade was the thing that got me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there they are. I really want to try and do that. And the charity aspect, it seems so great.
Mm-hmm. There is, I love that the Ghostbusters are part of the parades, especially that Thanksgiving parade, and I haven't been able to do one, but it adds so much legitimacy, I mean, to the group, because similar to you, I wasn't quite sure as I was researching, who everyone was, but like, really are the Chicago Thanksgiving parade. These people are legit. They know what they're doing. They seem to have themselves organized well. It is a huge get for our team to be a part of that every year.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool. Eventually we'd go on to have twins, and twins complicate things. They complicate things. Yeah. So the flight suit got put away, and it wouldn't come out again until 2021.
Gotcha. And what happens in 2021?
2021 was the NYC premiere of Afterlife. So
gotcha.
I finally pulled the suit out, went to the tailor, got the patches put on it and everything, and I was off. First time I ever put it on was with a group of friends in New York.
Mm. And how is your wife as far as understanding your fandom and deciding to all of a sudden pull this suit back out of the closet?
You know what? She was okay with it. My wife is really supportive. Sometimes she can, you can probably tell she gets a little frustrated with all the Ghostbusters because it is a big part. It is a big part of my life.
Yeah.
But I mean, you can see behind me, there's toys behind me. If I turned the camera, you'd see a hell of a lot more. But she's been really supportive, especially when it comes to the charity aspect. Even for our honeymoon or our anniversary that we took this year, 10-year anniversary, we went to Universal Studios. Thank you. During Halloween Horror Nights.
Oh, fun.
And my wife and I had been together a total of 15 years. And she's never once done a haunted house. She hates them. She doesn't like jump scares or everything. Because the time had synced up with our anniversary, where we were going, and the fact that Ghostbusters was going to be there. She went in there with me.
What a trooper.
She held on to me the whole time, and we got to do the Frozen Empire house. So she's pretty supportive of it.
That's great.
I'm sure I talk about it too much. I really do. But don't we all? I mean,
yeah, I know I do. I will catch my wife occasionally just doing the head nod, and I'll question if she's even still listening. But
yep.
So tell us now, you're a Universal guy, aren't you?
Yeah.
So I'm a huge Disney fan. So it'll be majority, if I'm getting down to Florida, it'll be majority Disney, and if I can get a day or two out in Universal, I'll go. What's the appeal of Universal, to you?
So,
and we, again, knowing when we grew up, was, man, nothing was cooler than some of those Universal commercials.
Yep, you can see me right there. There's my Universal poster, one of them. And on this side of me right there is a map from the opening day.
Awesome.
So I'm a Florida theme park guy. My parents we took road trips from Chicago to Florida every year. And then as my brothers came, it became a little less and less. But I will never forget 90s Universal. It stood out more to me than any of the Disney stuff. They had the Ghostbusters attraction. They had the Spooktacular.
I saw that.
And I actually took part in it when I was a kid.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, there was a segment where they would call a kid up and they would hold slime. They put a smock on you that kind of looked like a jumpsuit.
Louis Tully would give a big kind of welcome to the Ghostbusters speech at the beginning for anyone that hasn't. There are some good YouTube videos of this
Be a Ghostbuster.
Spiel.
Yep. The show. I mean, I held the slime, it dripped all over.
Oh, did you really? Oh,
Yep.
Very jealous.
You go, and then you exit through a store that's completely full of Kenner Ghostbuster toys and original park merchandise and stuff like that. And a lot of those memories like really held on there. And it's funny when I started thinking about joining and stuff, the idea of Be a Ghostbuster and franchise options is a line in 1984. But in this ride, they took it to the next level. There's a whole marketing video about it, everything at the little spiel pre-ride show. So I thought it was always really cool. And the whole thing of ride the movies was always a good sell for me.
Yeah.
So to this day, I'm still a big Universal buff. My collection's been almost exclusively Ghostbusters Universal things and Disney. I was going to tell you, Disney has one half of this room and Ghostbusters is the other half.
So they're well represented.
Yes.
Yeah. That's the Universal in the 90s. That my parents we took 2 trips down there in Florida in the 90s. The first time Universal was not part of it. We were, I think we were all just feeling fortunate to get to one of them. But man, the Jaws ride, the King Kong attraction, and the Back to the Future ride, I needed to ride those so bad. So we did. I make it there on trip to it. We did Universal instead of Disney, but that stands out. And my big memory is the Ghostbusters attraction. Being extremely jealous of the kid that got pulled up on stage with Louis Tully to feel the slime and be a part of things, and then having the Ecto-1 parked out outside was, that was my favorite part of the entire vacation, was seeing that Ecto-1 there.
Yep, I've got a nice photo of my grandmother and myself in front of that Ecto, and you could tell how much they didn't care back then. There were kids on top of it on the roof.
Oh, were they really? I was afraid to touch it.
Yeah, no, I'm kind of just leaning back against it.
Now, was this Ecto 1A or their 84 Ecto?
This was their style of.
Okay, yeah, that's the one I have. I never saw the 1A that I've. I've seen.
I can't remember if I saw 1A or not. I know I saw their 84 one, which was not the most accurate one in the world, but it was awesome.
It was awesome. It was so cool to see that in person. So, had to ask about that, as that Ghostbusters attraction has. James, did you ever make it to Universal to see that?
Nope.
Oh,
yeah, that's something that's taken on kind of a mythic kind of fandom to some folks in the community.
Well, the fun thing is that a lot of it is still there. Well, not a lot of it. There's chunks that you can still see. The original firehouse entranceway is still there. It has a roller coaster going through it, and you can't actually go through it and the doors anymore, but it's still there. It has a little Easter egg on the door. The original library backdrop scene is one of the first things you see when you enter the park. There's just a long street that you walk down. It's right there.
I'll have to keep my eyes peeled next time I go.
Yeah, a few years. Last time when I went in 2008, there were still marks up on it from where the dancing used to be. Ghostbusters versus Beetlejuice and Great Frightways and all those good things. So when we went this past October, I was dragging my wife like, this is where Jaws used to be. This is where King Kong was. Oh, patience.
Yes, and my wife is furious that she's missed out on the chance to go ride that Jaws attraction. That's one of her favorite movies. But that was Universal in the 90s. It was not. There wasn't much cooler to a kid than getting over to Universal Studios. So I totally understand your passion and fandom on that side. And so we get to 2021. Let's I keep taking you off track.
You're fine.
But I want to hear about kind of the birth of the idea of the Mooglie Fan Club and how it kind of grew to become an organization that focuses on charity itself. Okay.
So the idea came because I didn't have the time to join a franchise. So the opportunity was, not there, was busy with the kids and all that. And I wanted to try and have some kind of impact on the community. I didn't have to be the biggest. I don't have to be the best. I just want to do something that I know can help. And the original idea for the club, which still, happens now, is helping bring people into the fandom. That was a big thing for me when I first started. There was a lot of people like me that didn't know that all of this world exists, or we had a lot of dads who wanted to introduce their kids to the franchise, but didn't know where to begin. Do you think the movie's too scary? Should they watch the cartoon first? I really wanted to try and help people in a way that people didn't have to commit to anything. There's no charges for anything. There's no fees. You can print out a certificate and put it up on your wall. Your whole family can print them up and put them on the wall. I wanted something fun and free that I could devote some time to with the schedule that I had.
Yeah.
And eventually it kind of took on. We do activity sheets, word searches, mazes, word scrambles. We have the Draw Mooglie contest every year, and for adults and kids, and I see some amazing creativity coming out of both of the adults and the kids. We do have our charity effort at the end of the year. Over the last 3 years, between our charity raffles that we had, we've raised $2,425.
That's incredible.
Which I think is great for the fact that we only have one event a year devoted to that. I try to be as understanding as I can with everybody. I don't want to put pressure on people. A lot of people that are followers of the page are already in franchises, and they're doing their own charity work. They're raising their funds. They're donating to their causes. So I like to just be as open as possible, which actually gave us the charity raffle was my big idea at the time. We collected patches and pins and coins and stickers and business cards from franchises all over the world. It was a way to have an instant collection and familiarize yourself with this world that you might not even know existed. And I'll never forget when I went to the Afterlife premiere, the reception that I was getting from people, the openness. I was walking around with trading cards at the time, telling people, hey, come take a look at what we're doing, free activities. We're doing a charity raffle if you want to donate. And how many people would just reach into the bag and pull out a patch and say, add this to the pile, add this to the pile.
That's awesome.
It was amazing. And I like the idea of bringing the community together. We have a lot of instances where there's sides. And I think if we, mend things here and there or find that common ground, it makes this community even better than it already is.
Yeah. And I'll say I've been a part of the community now, close to 2 years. I feel like, when you talk about sides, there is a louder minority that can cause that, and I think overwhelmingly it's such a great inclusive community, and that's been my experience 99.9% of the time since I've been a part of things. And it's and I want to commend you, Eric, on something that I struggle with, and it's what I try and strive for is just you took the initiative. You saw a void that you wanted to fill partly within yourself, but also just out in the community. And instead of looking around for what somebody else can do, you just created it. And you're a doer and a creator. And that's something that, as I always use my ADD as a crutch on some of this stuff, but it's something I strive to be better at and being an initiator. And so I want to just commend you on that and getting started from nothing to be a big part of this community. So it's so fun to kind of see what you're doing and you just threw out another word search today or yesterday. And it was today.
Anybody that fills it out and puts it in the comments, it's funny because the patch that we have that was accidentally placed there, of course. I don't know how many messages. Where can we buy your patch? Where can we buy your patch? And I don't sell patches. I'm very big about making sure that charity money goes to where it's supposed to be and all of that, and how it should be handled properly. So every time we give away a patch, it is through an activity or a game or something like that. and I'll send them out to people and everything. And we run a lot of our bigger prizes are actually donated by the community. I go out and I'll raid Amazon when Funko Pops are $3 a piece.
Sure.
I'll pick up more prizes and stuff. But we've had some pretty generous folks over the last few years, and it's been amazing.
And go over what you're doing this year, as long as we're kind of talking about that. Kind of talk about your end of the year push and how folks can help out your cause.
So this year we're doing something different. We're having 2 charity auctions, both for items that you probably won't find anywhere else. The first one is really special to me. It's for a lot of 4 challenge coins, Ghostbusters themed challenge coins. One from the NYC Afterlife premiere, the Frozen Empire premiere, done by myself, GB fans, and yes, have some.
Mm-hmm.
The Ghostbusters Day 2024 coin that was given out this year at NYC for the fan event, and Hook and Ladder 8's challenge coin. Nice. I don't know if you know this or not, but I am a patch and pin and coin designer in the community. That's really how I got started before the clubs became a thing. But I'm actually the designer of all 4 of these coins. So
very cool. I didn't know that. I didn't know that you had a hand on all 4 of those.
Yeah, I designed the Afterlife one, the Frozen Empire one, the Ghostbusters Day one, along with the teams, and then Hook and Ladder 8 as well. So it means I've been holding on to these coins with the sole purpose of something like this.
Mm-hmm.
So we've seen these coins show up on eBay before. They've made whoever sold them enough, a good amount of money. And I always wanted to put them to good use. So this year we had the opportunity. So the first auction is all 4 coins and the club patch. And I've got some other small stuff I'm going to throw in there.
Mm-hmm.
And the second auction is for a unique piece. It's a Ghostbusters Day 2024 poster signed by every guest that was in attendance. Now, when I say that, I don't just mean the guests that were slated to appear that day. It's also the guests that actually showed up to actually attend the event by themselves. So the poster contains signatures from both the Leslie brothers, John Rothman, as we know as the head librarian.
Head librarian, yep.
Joe Cirillo, the cop who tags along with Beck. You're also going to get AC Martin, who was Phoebe's Mechanic Grace's stunt double.
Right, yeah.
Empire. And you'll get Adam Murray's as well, from the end credits scene in Frozen Empire, the truck driver with the minibus. I think that was everybody. So this poster was not available anywhere else. It was something that I thought of last minute right before the event. It's signed, all the 84 cast is signed in red. All the Frozen Empire guests are signed in blue. It's bright. It's going to look amazing when it's framed, whoever wants to frame it. But this is your chance to get something to either commemorate. Maybe you were at the event and you wanted to commemorate it. Maybe you didn't get a chance to get the autographs because the lines were so big. Or even with the coins, if you got a chance to miss out on them. But I was holding on to these guys to really do some good. And so far, so good. I want to thank the Buffalo Ghostbusters real quick for hosting the auctions for me on their platform, similar one they use for Ghostbusters Day, to make sure that once again I can maintain that I'm not some guy taking your money.
Right.
This
go into how people can take part in the auctions.
So right now, if you visit the Mooglie Fan Club on Facebook or on Instagram, you'll find links to our charity auctions. And then that'll give you some more information. If anybody ever has any questions, please feel free to message the club. I'll answer as quickly as possible. I want everyone to feel as comfortable as they can when they're bidding. But I just want to say, know that every item that you're getting is coming from a place of love and just passion.
That's awesome. You're doing great things. And I saw you posted some great close-up pictures of the of the coins. I haven't seen the poster yet, so I'm going to go back. If you have that posted on your page. I'll have to go back and take a look at that one too. But everything looks great, and you touched on it, and we haven't gotten to it here, and I want to make sure we at least bring it up a little bit more. What is your background with design? Because you've got all these great pins that are on the GB Fans shop. So and you have a hand in design on most of those, all of those, or
a good chunk
of them. Yeah. What is your background?
So
to do that,
I've been a graphic designer since I graduated high school. So I graduated in 2005, and I think 2006 or 2007 was when I actually started doing it professionally. Patches and pins didn't really come about until 2018. I had done my first patch, which was a Universal Studios tribute patch. It was, ironically, there was a nice circle that happened to this. Yes Have Some had posted a video, the original ride video that had the promo in it. Be a Ghostbuster, all the little spiel. So I found that, took a screenshot of it, redrew it, and turned it into the style of the vintage Universal logo, the neon and all that.
Yeah.
And that was my first patch. Later, I went on to do a Disney crossover with Mooglie wearing a set of Mickey ears, eating a Mickey bar. And one of my first actual franchise jobs was actually doing the first coin for Hook and Ladder 8. A lot of people don't know this.
Yeah, how long have they been doing that?
So their actual coins have been only around for a couple of years. But prior to that, there was an initiative between myself and Crystal Bass Monroe, my patch partner. Her and I have done it all together since the beginning, to raise funds for Hook and Ladder 8. So it was a fan-made run where every time we sold a coin, one was donated to the house. So it was very super limited. Eventually, unfortunately, somebody took the art and started making bootlegs of them, which is, warning, most of the ones on eBay are fake. If it doesn't have the firehouse on it, it's fake, probably. So eventually that's what led them to ask us to do the other coin. And I've done probably, I think last time I checked, I'm over 100 different logos for franchises, patch designs, pin designs, franchise logos since 2018.
Wow.
So I love the opportunity. I love the character.
Yeah.
The idea to put him in so many different variants it's like clay. You mold them into something new, and it's that identity, which is one of the reasons why I eventually had the patch raffles. I just loved how people were trading them, selling them for charity, all that good stuff.
So such an identifiable look and face there, but it's as I said before, I've got just the utmost respect for how you've been able to put everything together and build a brand that is so focused on helping the Ghostbusters community and raising money for the community at large, and Feeding America is a charity that that you're focused on, and that's a great one. That's a cause that it is, I think, so important to look at ways to help the people in your own backyard, and to not over not look over the need that's kind of right in front of you, and Feeding America definitely helps out with that. So Eric, we're coming right up on time here, but I can't thank you enough for the generosity that you've shown us with your time today, and sharing your story and helping our audience become more familiar with what you're doing. And if you want, I'd want to give you just a last chance to plug again your kind of end of year raffle, and how folks can help out.
Yep. Once again, if you are interested in viewing the auctions or taking a bid or even just sharing them, I appreciate likes, shares, comments, reactions. I love it all. If you get a chance, visit the Mooglie Fan Club on Facebook. The links are right there to share and do all that great stuff I just said. The auctions are going to end at, I believe, 8 p.m. on December 15th. So next Sunday, so you have some opportunity. So if you get a chance, check it out. And again, we're hosting a word search contest right now. If you go in there, fill it out, and put it in the comments, you have a chance to win yourself a free patch. And if you like free stuff, I'm always giving away things. So you get it, check out the club. We're always having a lot of fun. It's always a low pressure situation. I always tell myself I don't want to be the biggest in the community. I don't want to be the best. I just want to do my part.
Yeah, you're doing great. And if you're not a part of the Mooglie Fan Club, go over there and follow them, like them, be a part of things. It's great, and always puts a smile on my face when I see something new coming out from you, Eric, over there. And so, we are right at time, and want to thank Eric again for coming out. Check out the Mooglie Fan Club on Facebook, and also want a quick plug our very own Bob Anderson, Bob After Dark. He's probably currently broadcasting. So if you're watching us right now, hop on over to take a look at Bob's stream. Today he's actually putting together Flatwood's Monster Model Kit. So it's going to be a lot of fun watching Bob do that. And if we're lucky, we'll watch him get frustrated at something, which is always fun to watch frustrated Bob. But head on over to Bob's channel on Twitch, Bob Anderson, Bob After Dark, and take a look at that.
It's Bob After Dark Plays on Twitch.
Bob After Dark Plays on Twitch. Thank you, James.
And we'll be rating him, so anybody on Twitch will get kicked over to that too. So
perfect.
Awesome.
Well, James, thank you for your help today, pulling this all together. Eric, thank you for your time. And on behalf of the Windy City Ghostbusters, we appreciate everybody joining us today, following along on Twitch, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. But also, if you're listening to us on one of the major podcasting platforms, thank you so much. Hit subscribe, rate us, like us, and help more people find us in their algorithm. So thank you very much. Have a great rest of your week, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.
Just going to do my John Candy end of Planes, Trains, and Automobiles Frozen smile.